Welcome back to
Sandwiches.
the SSL.
God damn it. I messed it up. I had it. We were so close.
Sandwiches.
Yeah, something like that. There we go. Welcome back, guys.
We're
Here
back.
we are. Once
Yeah.
again. We're in the home stretch. 2 games or 2 series out of the way. Already 1 player headed to the second round, which if you are a player in SSL and you don't know what that is, you should probably know.
You're messing up.
Yeah.
You want to go to the second
Just
round.
like Hero messed up. He made it to the next round, but didn't know what the round was about. Thankfully, it's super cool. We have you guys totally hooked up, and once we do get to round number 2, we will make sure to explain it to you in all of its subtle nuances. It's just playoffs, so it's not really that big a deal, but it is going to be cool to see which players do make it through there, because not everyone will.
Yeah, and here the first one getting through. Losira was pretty close last week. Did not. Actually lost to Bunny, and now he's going up against TY, a better Terran for our next matchup. And a lot of people saying this should be 2-1 in one direction. I'm going to give it the 2-1 to TY.
Yep. You know, it's interesting because I did get a chance to see Losira play last week in GSL, and he actually made it out of what I thought was a very difficult group in which he actually prevented SOS from making it to the next round, and that is actually pretty insane to knock SOS out of the GSL. So, I mean, Losira still definitely has it when it comes to being able to beat the tippity-top players out there, but I mean, this is TY we're talking about, like, oh my God.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't make battle cruisers, I think we'll be fine. He's got some pretty sick multitasking, and I'm very curious about what the maps will be and see if he can really use that to his advantage. Losira had trouble with the aggression of Bunny, and TY, I think, is going to bring it even harder with better macro.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a different situation when he did it versus Classic either. I mean, I don't think we're going to see that again, but we are going to see Overgrowth, Whirlwind, and Daybreak. So no Belshire Vestige. We've seen that map quite a bit.
Losira wants to play on Overgrowth here. Might get aggressive himself. And you can see that TY chooses it as his third choice, and because that is the mutual choice, that does become map number 1, then Whirlwind, and then Daybreak to finish things off. Looking at those maps, I would have to favor TY even more. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think
he can abuse those pretty well.
The only way we could get better is like Frost could be in there. But, yeah, I can't really see too many ways in which TY doesn't make it out of here. Now, I mean, we got a chance to see how Biol fared in his ZVT earlier on today, and he looked insane, but very different Zerg styles here. Biol, very sort of slow macro defensive player, whereas in this case, we had a chance to watch Losira, who, you know, might not be up to his tippity-toppest form, but he is definitely capable of doing to human beings what Brendan just did to his hands.
Yeah, clapping him.
Well, that's more like this. This is more like a backhand.
Slapping them, backhanding them, yeah.
Slapping them, clapping them.
I guess so. A little bit of this, you could do both.
Yeah.
That is basically what Losira does.
I'm sure this is like an offensive gesture in some region of the world. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking about Losira's chances this game. X.
None. There might be. I mean, he is very strong. He has picked up a total of 2 series wins, so is poised to make it out of the SSL challenge. So I don't think 1 win will secure himself a guaranteed spot in the next round, so we might be seeing him a little bit later on as well. For Hero, he's already there. For Losira, a couple more wins. And for TY, his opponent, definitely have to think that this guy is one of the players that if I just look at him, I wouldn't be able to tell you whether or not he's in Premier or Challenge, just because he is so good. And here he is on your screen. A little bit less games played, so he can't really totally match up all of their wins and losses when it comes to their games, but still very, very strong player.
He looks so tired.
I mean, it is very late here in Seoul, South Korea. It is currently almost midnight.
Yeah,
so.
Imagine starting your matches at 11:40. not a good time to start your matches.
Well, it's been a long day, especially for players like Ryung and Deer. They both already had to play in GSL earlier today. Both of them won one series and then lost another series. So, yeah, it's been a very, very long day for both of those guys.
Crazy that Deer also is the last series of the night.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to start at like 1 a.m.
The Korean Space Ghost. He's got to go coast to coast, playing in the morning, playing in the evening, playing
Maybe
at
he went
supper
home
time.
and took a nap or something.
You play Protoss, you can have Protoss anytime. That was the best commercial growing up. You ever seen it? It was like Totino's Pizza Rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And
Literally,
we have had a lot
the
of Protoss
entirety
today.
of my nutrition growing up.
What nutrition?
Yeah, I
That's
know,
the better.
exactly.
I mean, I guess there's some cheese in there. So
That's when you make your
good.
commercials so compelling, like Kicks, where you just say it's already mother approved. Or is it kid approved? No, it's trusted. I forget the commercial. But either way,
Mother.
it's kid tested, mother approved.
Yeah, so,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
It's actually neither of those. So don't believe their lies. I'm going to write that on the back of the Kicks Polaroid.
Someone tweeted earlier about Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I
was
think it was
that?
Freak. I really want to eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch now. They don't have it out here, and
Cinnamon-
cereal is so expensive
Cinnamon
out here.
Toast Crunch is the inferior cinnamony cereal. I feel like you have to go with Waffle Crisp. If you
Waffle
want.
Crisp is really good too.
I think it's
but it's different.
discontinued,
It's
though.
different.
Yeah, it's definitely a different taste. It's not totally
yeah, yeah.
cinnamony.
Waffle Crisp is like syrupy cinnamon, kind of.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
would-
French toast, you know?
I would be a lot more inclined to eat that if we weren't about to get into game number one, our third series of the night, Losira versus TY. It's coming up, and while Losira might have a slightly better win record, it's only because he's played more games. TY looking to get closer to moving on to the second stage, which will be coming up in just a couple of weeks. Can he make it there? Can he take out the only Zerg player in SSL Challenge? Losira versus TY, game number one, coming up.
Whoosh. Off into the sky. Fly, better fly. Jin Air.
Not
Hi,
quite
guys.
continuing the rap there, but our purple Zerg player spawning down in the bottom left-hand corner. This is Losira.
And his buddy, but opponent tonight, is TY, the Blue Terran, wearing a blue jacket. Looks like the Jin Air SSL Series 2017 one. I'd love to get my hands on one of those.
I was about to say that. I'm going to
Go into the booth and steal it.
I'm going to take TY to the side and be like, hey, man. He can't understand English, but I'm going to be like, hey, man.
His English is not bad.
I know. It's not totally bad, but I'm going to be using my loquacious persuasion, Brendan. Ain't nobody ready for that.
You're gonna get him out of those clothes. Wrap it.
Just the jacket.
Just the jacket tonight.
Well, I was listening to Nate Dogg earlier, who said if I want to lead with something, all I need to do is give it conversation in Hennessy. So maybe that'll work. I don't know.
Well, you got to get some Hennessy
That's
first.
an advanced build order, man. So speaking of build orders, we're going to have gas before pool coming out here for Losira. On the other side, it's going to be a standard barracks timing here for TY. And really a lot of questions here. We've seen a bunch of different strats. Earlier on, we saw, I believe it was Ryung in GSL go with some really, really cool marine timings. Not on this map specifically, Overgrowth. I think it was on Abyssal Reef, where he just found like these super tiny nooks, crammed his marines in there, and not a Zerg in the world was going to uncram him. And just played it very, very, very solidly. So we'll see TY versus Losira. Different players, different map, different styles for sure. So you can't really draw too many conclusions here. I always see casters sometimes just like, well, this guy has a certain win rate versus these players. I'm like, well, yeah, but those players play like an entirely different style on different maps. So rarely can you just go off of percentages. That's why we actually play the games, Brendan. See how it goes.
Yeah,
See how the
and sometimes
cookie
upsets do happen too.
See how the cookie crisp crumbles.
Oh man,
Another
that's
S tier
Yeah.
cereal, to be sure.
Someday, I'll get it back.
They even sell those here. I think you have to go to
I
like
don't
one
think
of the wacky foreign food marts.
Yeah, it costs like $10 for a box. I'm like, no thanks.
No.
Not feeling it. Hellions coming out. Need to go gas first on this map. Getting the fast Hellions out and the fast tech.
Pumping them out of the reactory.
I actually never heard anyone say that before. That's kind of funny. You think someone would have thought of that before?
Kind of funny. Yeah, that's what I think with all of my jokes.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm sure somebody's thought of this before, but tonight I will be getting credit for them.
Like the reactory? I don't think anyone said that before. Someone's going to link me a cast from like 2011. I'm like, okay, well. I mean, I was watching, but I don't remember.
Don't remember. All right, well, a little bit of pressure put down on this third hatchery, which is coming up very early here for Losira. He's invested a lot into this economy. The Zerglings will get forward enough to see that Hellions are on the way and that second base is up and running for TY. Baneling Nest already prepared.
Yeah, he needs those Banelings for the Hellbats. And coming over here, he won't be able to see the armory, but he does see that lone starport with no add-ons and just the continued reactor at the factory, so he needs to prepare, but he's making only drones and more drones, but he is dropping down a spine crawler.
Yeah, spine crawler coming out, but with a liberator on the way, TY is really going to be throwing a lot of different things here at Losira. Now morphing into Hellbats, pushing forward, only 3 queens at the front. Look at that dropship micro, he's it's a medevac, called it a dropship. Casting too much brute war. Either way, lots of sick control here, moving the Hellbats forward, and there's just not a lot to prepare here.
Yeah, he just didn't get the scout down. I mean, there's going to be 6 Banelings that pop out, and we'll see how TY does react to that. All the drones lining up here.
Wow, surprisingly fewer kills than I expected. Nice splitting there against these few Banelings that have been morphed. Still looking for kills here on these Hellbats. The Zerglings will get forward. However, apparently Hellbats are more than just metal. They can be healed, they can be repaired. What are they? They're everything all at the same time. And all these queens going down, all the Zerglings going down, 18 more being produced. Is it enough in time? Especially with this Liberator coming out. This could be a little bit too much for Losira to deal with.
Yeah, he's trying desperately to take out that Liberator with the 2 queens, but they're just being shelled by the Marines and the Hellbats. It looks like eventually this will be cleaned up. He is forced back. That's a very weak natural right now, natural hatchery. They did delay some mining, but Losira saved a lot of those drones that got extremely low, sent them over to the 3rd base.
Yeah, that Liberator was actually able to kill off, I think, two eggs that were actually hatching more Zerglings. So limiting the larva by killing the eggs, limiting the larva by killing the drones and the Zerglings, and forcing so many more Zerglings out into a situation where there's Hellions to defend. I think this is looking pretty good for TY.
Lots of Lings coming across and only 2 Hellions over here. One's a Hellbat now. The Liberator forced to come back and help out here. 2 more Hellions will pop. Those Banelings not meant for this world. They'll be cleaned up. Just delaying some mining time. Not too many workers taken out.
And TY is already preparing for the future. He knows he's done damage, so let's just shore up where our build is going. And for TY, it's going to be into this solid mech play style. More Liberators on the way, vehicle weapons coming up, and for Losira in defense, just making sure that he will be able to defend all these 3 bases by continuing to pump out Zerglings, even still. So I guess got kind of underprepared there, and is making sure it won't happen again.
Look at the build here from TY. Double factory reactor. So Cyclones and Hellions that can become Hellbats, of course. He scans over here at the natural, sees what's what. I think we're going to see a pretty nice follow-up attack, perhaps with +1 vehicle weapons for TY. So not a very common build here.
He's just going to have a million Hellbats. He's continuing to pump out Hellions out of double reactored factory. Or reactory. I really like that. That's like the good version of when medevacs could pick up tanks and you were never sure if you were supposed to call them medanks.
Yeah. It's like when memes go right, you know?
Yeah, exactly. These are the good narratives.
Oh boy.
All right, moving the Banelings forward. Wow, perfect connections. Caught TY morphing. That is in fact not morphing time.
It's funny because it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. They're still going to move forward and kill just about everything. The drone's being pulled off the line, sent forward to fight, and Liberators. Turns out even if there is a spine crawler, they'll still get plenty of kills. 14, 15 drones now going down. And even though Queens are going to be enough to pick off a few of these Hellbats, there's more on the way.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have said it didn't matter, because if he didn't get those connections, I think TY could have won the game right there.
Look at this, Brendan. There's a Nidus network coming up, and something tells me that Overlord parked in a hidden place in TY's base might give Losira an opportunity. Not if he loses all these Zerglings, though.
Yeah, the Zerglings are just a distraction. One Thor coming out.
Oh my god. I mean, we haven't
Blue
seen
Flame.
the Thor changes come out yet, Brendan. So, still a little bit confused about that. Maybe that's the meme Thor, the get out of my game Thor. But here comes the Nidus network, and it's not okay, it is within range of that starport. He will see it coming out. Will the Thor be able to deal with it? Something tells me it's not going to be out in time. The Thor the Nidus network does complete. Nidus Canal, my bad. Once again, too much Brood War. But a lot of Roaches and Queens and Ravagers and a lift forced on TY's main command center.
I love the 3 Ravagers, really nice for the Liberators. Unfortunately, though, really nice spread of the Hellbats and also a bunch of SCVs getting into the fight. Nice drop to do some nice counter harassment there at the natural once again. This is going to be shut down, but 25 SCVs to die. Really,
yeah, that's actually a lot of damage. I did not expect it to go that way, especially with a Thor popping out.
the only thing is that Losira is on 33 workers, and he's being denied so much mining time right now. You can see he barely has anything. Meanwhile, at TY, he has 3 orbitals. He lost a bunch of SCVs, but he still has a healthier number of SCVs, workers, than the Zerg player. And he's got this really nice, heavily upgraded mech army. And Losira's kind of just like, well, I hope I kill him this time. And I don't think it's going to work.
The scan's coming down there, but this Nidus will complete. Whether or not you really want to send everything through it, I don't know about that. It's going to be able to shovel out these Roaches. Roaches deal pretty well with these Hellions. Are a couple of Cyclones coming up with a Siege Tank and Thor in the back. I don't know, this might be too many Roaches. Just kidding, it's not. I promise.
Oh, look at this cheeky Liberator, too. Going to deny what little mining Losira had left. And that one Thor is actually doing really nice with the front line of Hellbats. So.
The Roaches all just head for the hills, but now they're actually going into a second Nidus Canal. Really cool play here with them getting now into the 3rd base all the way across the map. These are basically like the Zerg version of Adepts. Roaches able to go from one base to another. Yeah, shading through the Nidus Canal and getting 12 more worker kills. That's actually making this worker discrepancy much more even than it otherwise would be.
Yeah, those are just trying to be heroes right now in this game.
Can't get back to their Nidus, but they can run their little roach legs across Overgrowth. Banshee coming out. That'll be a great way to deal with either Roaches in the main or get out there and get that harass going on. Didn't see too many Spore Crawlers, especially if they do want to just put pressure on the front. Only one Banshee, no really heavy commitment.
Yep.
Oh, actually,
got a second
right as
one
I
on the
say
way.
that, the caster curse kicks in.
And double tank, too. So if Losira, he has to stay on Roaches right now, so the tanks are just going to destroy these guys. I like how he's like, okay, I don't even need Liberators. The Banshees are just going to be better straight up, because if he can kite me with Corrosive Biles against my Liberators, well, then they're not going to be very effective. Even taking a 4th base at the gold, because why not? When you're ahead, get more ahead, and don't take any risks.
And this 4th base could just really be what seals the deal here. Nice Banshee positioning. Nothing they can shoot up. And Ravager after Ravager getting picked off. And now we wait.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that TY doesn't realize how far ahead he is. I think he's in this mech mindset where it's like, I can get the gold for free, so why wouldn't I just do it? Whereas, you know, me on the outside, we're all watching this game, and it's like, well, this army of TY could absolutely demolish the entirety of Losira's army, you know, 3 times over at this point. So, he is going to be moving out as he does take that gold. He is on the way, and actually, all of these Roaches and Ravagers, the small Losira army is going to be caught by the double Banshee. So that's going to do it. GG.
Much like in my games, when I go 2 base, Cloak Banshees all in early on, double Banshees in your base, or basically anywhere where you don't have a lot of anti-air, it's not going to be very fair.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah, I did. I did.
And so did TY. He absolutely destroyed him.
He
Nice
did it a little bit
Hellbat
more.
play there on Overgrowth. You know, you don't see that all too often nowadays, but if there is a map to do it on, it is Overgrowth, the shortest one that we have left in the pool. You can get those units over there very, very fast, those fast Hellions. Morph them up and just kill the Zerg if they're not expecting it. And Losira, he just wasn't expecting it.
And I mean, Losira even got decent banelink connections the second time around, but just a little bit too far behind at that point. The Roach counterattack in the main with the Nidus network actually killed like a total of like almost 40 SCVs. So I mean, the counter was there. He just didn't have enough to deal with a very complex Terran army that was headed his way. So no win for you in game number 1, but luckily this is a best of 3. So Losira fans, get out there, tweet your support, send it to him however you want. Of course, if you are cheering for TY, he's only 1 game away from picking up his 2nd series victory here in the SSL Challenge.
Yeah, so we'll see if he can do it here. Jumping into game number 2, this is going to be on Whirlwind. And here we go, let's take off. And here we are on Whirlwind, Fly Better Fly. And the purple Zerg down in the bottom right, it is Losira.
Indeed, he is. Now, he always takes the leather bracket off before his games and puts on the SPO TV SSL Jin Air jacket. I feel like that definitely lowers his power level, but here we go. A gas on the way, probably a barracks coming up relatively soon. Most likely just Reapers coming out there for TY. We'll see how crazy Losira gets. He got a very early 3rd base in game 1. I think that might have just set him a little bit too far behind, unable to deal with all that Hellbat pressure.
Yeah, Nergio had a spicy tweet before game number 1 here. He said, so many Zergs in SSL. Well, this Zerg, the one Zerg that we have here in SSL Classic is, even I'm saying Classic now, Rapid Challenge, is... He's doing well so far. I mean, he's 2-1 coming into today's game, but having a bit of trouble against TY's aggression in game 1.
I was actually going to say, Losira actually with one of the best win rates in SSL Challenge, so I mean, you can't really argue with that too much. Now, obviously, he's going up against one of the strongest opponents here. I mean, I would say Hero, definitely maybe number 1, number 2, but TY on the list of players that you could definitely expect to get into Premier. Way high up on that list. So we'll get a chance to see what is in the cards here. Nothing super aggressive, but with a 3rd command center coming down already for TY. I mean, this is going to actually be TY's opportunity to take the more economic start.
Yep, getting that natural CC down, just going to be a
2nd command center.
Yeah,
I think I said 3rd earlier.
Yeah,
like, this is a little bit early for 3 command centers.
Very fast. I didn't even know that was possible. But yeah, just pretty standard Reaper CC opening. And we'll scout here with the Reaper. Didn't go for a scout with any SCV on the map.
Yeah, the second gas is going to be a little bit interesting. We did see just reactored out Hellions in game number 1. So going for double gas this time means that things might look a little bit different, even though I think we should still see those reactored Hellions out there. It worked pretty well. But I'm not sure if he's going to have quite the same luck here on Whirlwind, which is, of course, a much larger map.
Yeah, if he wanted to play against it and just say, hey, he didn't do too well against it in game 1, he's not going to expect it here in game 2 on Whirlwind, then maybe he does it, but it doesn't look like he's going for that build just yet. And actually coming in here doesn't scout the 3rd hatchery, just fly, or rather boosts on by that with his Reaper. And double Widowmine is the follow-up, so wants to go for a bit of a Widowmine drop at the same time here.
Really interesting to see kind of the change up here. I mean, it is a much different map, so you have to play a different style. But not just going for massive amounts of Hellions to kind of control what is a much larger map, as they are want to do early on against just Zerglings. But switching it up into mines. So these mines actually might come into play not only just now as he might send them across the map or use them defensively, but a little bit later on in the game. If you have mines are kind of like, I don't know what you want to call them. Like if you build like maybe early oracles, if you don't lose them early on, they can have a much later potential. Much later on in the game, where if you just have all those mines left over, you move forward and all of a sudden there's this big sort of web of mines that the Zerg just can't make it through if they try to hard engage onto your army. There's the 3rd command center.
Yeah, you predicted it.
I was a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of my time. I'm the Sega Dreamcast of casters, Brendan. Just a little bit too early, but I get all the best games.
Well, it's good to see TY is playing this kind of very laid-back style on a map like this. I think getting 4 bases for the Terran here against Losira should be pretty easy. Wouldn't mind drop comes in.
Probably wants to unburrow those. Could have let it go off on maybe like an egg, but either way, good to pick them both back up. Mines will live, die another day.
Trying to refocus it here. Retarget it. Gets 2 kills. Will pick it back up. Is going to pick the second one up. Gets out alive. So as you were saying, he saves the Widow Mines, gets a small bit of damage.
I mean, only gets 2 drone kills. It might not be enough damage to really warrant that, but I mean, he didn't lose anything, so nothing ventured, nothing gained, I suppose.
He also stopped some mining time, and I think one of the Widow Mines killed some Zerglings.
It actually might kill that Overlord here in just a second. Indeed, it will get the hit off. I correct my ultimately incorrect statement. So the Overlord survives, but still, like, I mean, how can you survive that? Overlords, I mean, they're moving supply depots, but at some point you just have to die to something. And I feel like if I were a squishy floating jellyfish bag of gas kind of thing, and I got shot by a Widow Mine, I would probably die.
You just fall apart. You can't handle the stress.
Physics, how does it work?
Yeah. That pull on the drones there by Losira was really fantastic. Really on time. I think the auto turret only got 1 kill. So something's getting more damage somewhere. Another turret comes down.
Yeah, really limiting the amount of economic damage that TY has been able to inflict. Like you said, only 1 kill off that auto turret, sacrificing Zerglings instead of drones that time. And this time you're already seeing exactly what you should see. Losira up a base, up in workers, looking much, much better. But with 2 more barracks on the way, this could be a little bit surprising. Losira starting his 4th base right as TY. It's his 3rd up and running.
Yeah, and you could see this is just heavy harassment focus from TY, not overcommitting. Double Raven, trying to do some harassment damage. The pull not going to be as fast this time. Looks like he will get 3 more drone kills.
Okay, yeah. Double Raven's actually really interesting. He's getting a lot of value now, but was denied earlier. A Spire on the way, so that will shut down the Raven presence, but what looks to be lots of barracks coming down for TY will not be something Spire will necessarily help you out super well with.
Yeah, going to be relying on those Banelings with speed coming out here. Whistling Bane Muta. Keeping it real here is Losira. And TY, he's just hunkering down. You know, more and more Widow Mines, all the upgrades coming out right now. Consistent focus on the harassment with these Ravens that are out on the map, and just securing his 3rd base at the same time.
And I mean, we talked about how Losira was a little bit ahead in workers earlier. Now 63 SCVs across 3 fully saturated bases for TY. This is the Terran machine up and pumping. His barracks have been built. The add-ons now going down onto them. Both of them are reactors. And with 2-2 started for his bio, this is going to be a super scary push.
Still getting damage done with the Ravens. This is 4 more drones, 5. Doesn't look like that auto turret is dying. It looks like finally it's come down, and this push is also really scary. The Banelings moving forward. Actually, a decent Widow Mine hit here. A nice run by Losira to get into the 3rd base of TY.
Interestingly enough, he's going to lose a medevac, lose the Marines that were dropped out of it, and his counterattack is getting some damage done. So Losira in a decent position, although he will still struggle to deal with totally cleaning up TY's presence at his base. It's actually morphing those Banelings right in front of that SCV, or the supply depot. What is that building? They're just chilling there, man. Lots of micro, though, at the front of the base. This is what really matters. Taking out at least 1 of those mines, and now the Mutas are out. SCV, or
What? Okay, so he got the Banelings and morphed it right in front of TY. Did not go for the SCVs. What? 2 Banelings blow up on 1 Marine that spawns, and the other one kind of just follows. It's still rolling. Okay, this is just comical at this point. This is going to die, and those Banelings could have done a lot more damage.
Those are the Rawhide Banelings. Keep on rolling. 3 more drone kills off of just the Widow Mine, burrowed in a great spot. more value done through just saving these mines early on. We talked about that, how if you keep them around, they come back and they're super valuable in pushes like this. Pre-splitting Marines, Raven survives. Just incredible play here. TY looking super solid on all fronts.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Losira had trouble against the aggression of Bunny. How is he going to fare against the aggression of TY? And, well, this is a lot of mutas coming out here.
Yeah, mine hits go off and actually damage a lot of the Marines. Zerglings, Banelings, mutas chasing everything back.
Here are the reinforcements, though, stimming across the map to join on up. And definitely this Widowmine is still here. This is kind of funny. Too many things going on right now for Losira to clean up everything. And again, Whirlwind is a very long map. It's hard for TY to group everything up and just rally them over parade push as easily as Bunny was able to do. But he's trying. Looks like he wants to potentially hit 2 places at once this time around and starts a 4th base.
Continuing to commit for mutas and no more drones being produced. It is all about the military here. And Losira wants to get up to that critical mass of mutas with enough bling bling on the ground where he can fly the mutas in anywhere he wants, and the bling bling will soak up most of the Marine fire and allow him to get enough damage done. Not sure, what was that he just canceled?
It was a hatchery.
All right.
Not canceled. He actually killed the macro hatch there at the 3rd base.
TIL. All right. 3-3 just outstarted for TY. So he is way up there in upgrades, and I'm pretty sure those are unupgraded Mutalisks. They might have +1. You have to click on one to find out.
They're unupgraded, and I think only +1 attack for melee is done. He did get the +2 carapace, but...
And look at all of the turrets going down. 4 turrets back in the Terran base. Make it very difficult for these Mutalisks to really get a whole lot of damage done. Nice formation for the Marines behind the Mineral Lions. And, you know, Losira is stable. He's clearing up all this aggression. But, I mean, once these upgrades kick in, TY's army is just going to be so... what's the word that the kids are using these days?
Strong. Lit.
Fetch.
Fetch?
Yeah.
You mean like what you play with your dog, or?
I don't know. It's a thing that didn't happen.
He's going to be playing with the Zerglings. He's going to be playing fetch with the Zerglings. That's what's going to happen here.
Unfortunately, these are not using the sexy Zergling skins, so they're definitely not looking that way. Either way, a few lost Marines out there adventuring across the map. We'll just be scouting everything out. 4th base is up here now for Losira. Still has yet to saturate it, but the Swarm, man, alive as well.
Yeah, Losira's got a massive amount of Banelings in this army composition that he's got. The only thing, as we were mentioning before, is the upgrade advantage for TY is really, really nice. It just seems like he's not confident enough to push out just yet. He's scared of counterattacks. You can see all the Marines spread out across the map, the sensor tower. He's really worried about being counterattacked somewhere on the map.
3-3 about to kick in here. This is going to be a very powerful push for TY. A bunch of Banelings rolling in to this 3rd base. Nice lift there on the command center, but
oh boy!
Oh no, he didn't continue. That's how you cast SCVs, dying to Banelings. 17 of them do go down, but damage being done there in the main. Muta's in enough numbers to probably be able to clean it up, and indeed it will be. Nothing of value was lost except for those 4 drones. I didn't mean it, 4 drones. You mattered. Not an incredible amount. And actually, if you do look at the worker count, 20 supply up there. In that regard, big mine hit on those mutas. Almost all of them melting in here. The Swarm rolling forward, but evaporating for the most part. That 3-3 upgrades making these Marines and Marauders so difficult to deal with.
The Widow Mines, they all go off on not much, and that was not the good split that TY wanted of those Widow Mines. He's forced back, and Losira's buying himself so much time to get Ultralisk, chitinous plating, the other upgrades, adrenal glands.
He's even remaking mutas. A lot of Zerg players like to make one batch of mutas, stick on them, and then when they run out, you know, you switch into a different tech. But no, Losira made a batch, then made a second batch, and now is continuing to make more after losing a lot of those mutas to a big mine hit earlier on. And that solitary Thor out there, kind of interesting as a Mutalisk deterrent. Be a lot more interesting when it, you know, has its damages changed a little bit. interested to see how that does affect the usefulness of that unit. I guess only time will tell. And there it is. Thor is here, arriving across the map.
He's already got 2 kills. He's hit recruit. And yeah, no more mutas coming out here, just trying to save up for the Ultralisks. And he only has 1 at this point. He's going to be relying on those banelings to get some good hits. Really good split here from TY. It doesn't look like there's much AoE, but that split is really fantastic, and I think that's going to win him the fight really, really nicely.
Certainly will. He's got some Mutalisks coming from behind, but I mean, that's not going to last against more and more Marine reinforcements rallied across the map.
And now he's hitting that 5th base over here. Doesn't look like much mining is being done anymore, as 18 drones are going to be shredded, and that base will go down. GG's called. He could not keep up. TY takes the 2-0 victory here against Losira.
Damn, and he looked good. Losira getting maybe a little bit economically greedy in game 1, taking an early hatchery. Got busted by the Hellbats. Game number 2 came out, and you know, to be fair, I feel like Losira kind of fixed a lot of his issues in game number 1, carried it over, but in the end, man, those upgrades just so strong for TY.
Yeah, and we saw that actually in his games against Bunny too, where his upgrades were a little bit late. Maybe that's something he needs to get a little bit more greedy with. Or maybe he wants to take like a dark approach where he just tries to stick on Roach Ravager and get up to Hive fast. You know,
yeah.
Maybe on a map like Whirlwind you'll have more time to do that, because, I mean, we all saw how easily TY got a 4th base with a planetary and then even a 5th base. There was just nothing Losira could really do to touch it. He had that 1 run by with the banelings, which was nice. But again, lots of gas lost to kill 14 SCVs when he's got 5 command centers and like 1 million mules. Does it really matter? No. He needed those banelings to help defend.
Right.
So lots went into that.
Didn't have them. The Muta Remax as well, when the Terran's pumping these like massive balls of bio. I don't know. I feel like once you've lost that kind of critical mass of mutas, building back up to that is just a little bit liable, just because, I mean, you're having 3-3 Marines about to hit your base. Like, yikes. All right, well, TY with that victory.